Recently, the Long Beach City Council enacted some kind of new procedural law when they have meetings that limits the amount of time that people can talk. Dave, can you explain what they did?
Basically, they took away a private citizen's right to remove an item from the consent calendar. The consent calendar is a group of issues that are lumped together because they're considered routine and they can be dispensed with one single vote. But oftentimes these items are vaguely worded and they may purposely or unpurposely hide issues that may deserve a full council airing. And so in that situation, a member of the public had been able to ask that this item be reviewed or removed from the consent calendar and considered in the meeting as a whole. But that was removed in the interest of expediency.
Getting back to our friends at the Press Telegram, there's a paragraph that begins here. Now, we generally don't like limiting speech. Now, we've talked about how that reads like, I'm not a racist, but, it's incredible, I think, to us, Dave, that a newspaper which operates specifically on the right of free speech would say, well, gee, free speech can be kind of overrated. I read that and, your jaw kind of drops at the fact that it seems the Press Telegram has forgotten what it does. That it seems like when you cease to be doing investigative journalism, when you cease to be doing journalism that might piss people off and that might require you to say, I'm invoking my right of free speech to do these things, to say these things. If you're just writing about happy parades and aren't kids cute, well, then free speech maybe doesn't mean so much to you because, no one's going to stop your right to say puppies are cute, right? And here they are kind of poo-pooing the importance of free speech.
Well, yes. And the phrase I think that most was just jumped out at me is that it reduced this act of going down to the council, as I explained, going down there and standing up in front of people and making a case on an issue. It reduced it to putting in your 2 cents. That was the term that the Press Telegram used.
Yeah, there's a graph here that says, and there are many ways, this is the PT piece, and there are many ways to put in your 2 cents. Phone calls, emails, letters to the editors, and blogs. But we were talking about this. Number one, to call someone's opinions their 2 cents, that is a derogatory term we use for someone's useless opinion, number one. So number one, they're being very patronizing that obviously no one in the public has anything really important to say. And as you've pointed out, these aren't just people, blowhards who necessarily might want to get up there. These might be people who have honest questions, honest opinions, things that they need to know. They might not just be up there to say that Martians came and are controlling their kitchen pantry or something like that. And again, though it isn't incredible to me that politicians would try to limit that, I think they've probably tried to limit it throughout our history. The idea that a newspaper would buy into that is incredible. Newspapers have been the ones saying, yes, you have to let the Ku Klux Klan march. Yes, you have to let skinheads talk. Yes, you have to let Nazis have a dinner dance or whatever, because, as you say, it benefits all of us. The fact that it seems the Press Telegram is so dismissive of their own readers, it would seem that it would be people who read newspapers would be the most likely to go and speak at council meetings, and they seem to be saying, you're all a bunch of idiots whose opinions mean nothing and just waste our time.
I can't really explain it. I think it was simultaneously amazing, and yet in terms of the way I think that we see more and more we see less and less of this paper, I don't think it was particularly surprising.
Where does it stand? They approved it, right?
Yes, it's been approved. That's the new rule now. So if you see something on the consent calendar and you would like it addressed in an open council meeting, you can ask a council member or the mayor to pull it for you. And this particular council and this particular mayor said that they will, with no questions asked. Of course, the real question is whether or not their successors will do this, and whether this will, down the line, be something that truly inhibits city government. So if you want that done, you can ask them to pull it. It can be pulled. Otherwise, you're able to go up and speak on any item on the consent calendar for 3 minutes, any or all of them, for 3 minutes beforehand. But this is much different than when people speak on an item on the consent calendar. Oftentimes, these are just words. They are like blogs and phone calls and emails. They're just flutter out into the breeze. When something is being considered in the open council, you have the attention of the council members and you have the attention of the other people in the room. There is a dialogue. And that is the difference, is that just standing up and making a speech or having the attention and the interest of your elected official.
And we talked about that, how either naive or totally disingenuous the PT is, likening getting up, speaking in a public arena, face-to-face with someone, to emails or blogs which can be ignored and deleted or whatever in private. You never know, is the council person reading them, is one of his staff reading them, or are they not reading them? And for them to make the correlation between that and actually getting up, looking someone in the eye and saying, I don't like what you're doing, or why are you doing it? I mean, I can't believe they could be that stupid.
Ditto.
Thank you. Hey, Dave. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
The Long Beach City Council limits your right to free speech, and the Press Telegram agrees with them.
The Long Beach City Council limits your...
Time's up!